I married the love of my life, only to find out, hours later, he was the father of my child from a one-night stand I was never supposed to speak of again. That thought echoed in Emilia Carter's mind as she stood under an arch of white roses, her silk gown hugging her waist, diamonds glittering under the chandelier lights. To everyone watching, it was a fairy tale. To her, it was a lie wrapped in lace. The orchestra played softly in the background, violins weaving through the marble halls of the grand Langston estate. White roses cascaded from golden arches. Cameras flashed. Guests whispered. And at the altar stood Emilia Carter, dressed in a Vera-Wang gown that cost more than her mother's entire house. This was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. But her smile wavered. Because hidden inside her ivory clutch was a photograph. She hadn't put it there. Her fingers brushed the edges of it just minutes before she walked down the aisle. Her maid of honor had handed her the clutch with a grin, unaware of the ticking time bomb inside. She peeked at it once, just once, before the ceremony began. Now, standing before 200 guests and her soon-to-be husband, Leon Hale, billionaire CEO of Hale Global, her mind spun with questions. The photo was of a child. A boy. 4 years old, dark hair, chocolate eyes. Her son. Next to him, standing in what looked like a hospital room, was him, the man from that night. The man she swore she'd never see again. The man whose name she never even knew. The man she was about to marry. Do you, Emilia Carter, take this man? The officiant's voice echoed in her ears. Her heart pounded so loud she thought the guests might hear it. Leon looked down at her with that same confidence that first drew her in, the way he always seemed to be in control. His blue eyes studied her, calm. Tender. Sincere. Almost too sincere. Did he know? She glanced again at his face. His jawline. His eyes. Suddenly, she couldn't unsee it. Her son had those same eyes. Was it possible? No, it couldn't be. The man from that night had left before morning. She'd never even gotten his full name. It was a mistake. A moment of weakness. She was heartbroken, drunk, alone. But now, every nerve in her body screamed the same thing. Leon Hale is the father of my son. And he has no idea. Or does he? Emilia? Leon whispered, leaning closer. You okay? She nodded quickly, the lie catching in her throat. Why, yes. Just nerves. He smiled, took her hand, and slid the ring onto her finger. The guests erupted into applause. She forced a smile. Inside her clutch, the photo burned like fire. She had no idea who had sent it, or why now, but one thing was certain. This marriage was built on a secret. And secrets never stay buried for long. It was supposed to be one night, and I never even got his name. 4 years later, I said I do to that same man, and neither of us knew it. 4 years earlier. Rain slammed against the windows of the downtown bar as Emilia stirred her third glass of wine, mascara smudged slightly under her eyes. She was done pretending to be okay. Her phone buzzed again. Her ex had just posted pictures with the girl he cheated on her with. Perfect timing. Want another? The bartender asked. She nodded, blinking fast. Make it something stronger, she whispered. That's when she noticed him. Dark suit, loosened tie, rain-damp hair. He slid onto the bar stool beside her without a word. Clean-shaven, expensive watch, sharp jawline. He didn't reek of money, he wore it like it was built into his DNA. I'm not in the mood, she muttered, without looking at him. He gave a faint smile. Neither am I. They sat in silence for a while. Then he glanced at her glass. Rough night? She nodded. Heartbreak. You? He looked down at his hands, something tightening in his expression. Business betrayal. She raised her glass. To pain. He clinked his whiskey against hers. And poor decisions. They drank. Conversation flowed easier after that. He was witty, kind, a little broken like her. He didn't pry. He didn't ask for her name. She didn't ask for his. It was easier that way. I'm not this kind of girl, she whispered as they stepped into the hotel elevator, lips tasting like wine and rain. He didn't answer, just looked at her like she was something he hadn't allowed himself to want in a long time. By the time they stumbled into the room, clothes hit the floor in silence, and breathless laughter turned to soft gasps. It was passion without promises. Healing without questions. Just two strangers wrapped in borrowed peace. She woke the next morning alone. The pillow next to her was cold. He was gone. No note. No number. No name. She stared at the ceiling, unsure whether to cry or be grateful. One night. That's all it was ever meant to be. Until 2 weeks later. The nausea began. Then the pregnancy test turned positive. She kept the baby. Moved back home. Told no one about the father, not even her family. Not that she had anyone to tell. Just a nameless man in a hotel room who gave her one night of comfort and accidentally gave her a son. A beautiful boy with white chocolate eyes and a crooked smile. Eyes just like. She froze. Back in the present. Back in her wedding gown. Back under the white roses, standing across from the man from that night. Leon Hale. The one she never thought she'd see again. And the father of her child. Fairy tales taste sweetest right before they shatter. Emilia repeated her mother's proverb in her head as 1,000 tiny lights flickered across the Langston Estate ballroom, painting everything gold and impossible. The string quartet had switched to a lively jazz cover, and guests flowed between glittering tables overloaded with peony-topped centerpieces and crystal flutes of Dom Perignon. The smell of truffle canapes mingled with the sharp scent of fresh roses, luxury trying its hardest to smother whatever lay rotting underneath. Emilia danced her first dance with Leon beneath a chandelier big enough to swallow them whole. Cameras orbited, guests swooned, but she heard only two things, the thump-thump of her own panicked pulse and Leon's calm, steady breathing as his hand rested on the small of her back. "Relax," he whispered, lips grazing her ear. "We survived the ceremony." Survived. The word hit her like cold water. Marriages weren't supposed to be survived, they were meant to be lived. Yet here she was, calculating every breath, every smile, wondering if he already knew, if he was playing some deeper game. Across the dance floor, Emilia's maid of honor, Tessa, waved the ivory clutch, signaling an emergency lipstick check. Emilia excused herself and threaded through the sea of sequined gowns. Inside the restroom's velvet hush, Tessa handed over the bag. "Touch-ups, Mrs. Hale." She beamed, then leaned closer. "You good?" "You vanished behind your own eyes at the altar." Emilia dabbed a trembling brush of blush onto her cheeks. "Just overwhelmed." Tessa nodded toward the clutch. "Did you read the card?" "Card? There's a sealed envelope in there. I figured Leon slipped you something cheesy." Emilia's stomach turned. She opened the clutch. Beside the damning photograph lay a cream envelope stamped with Hale Global's crest. Her initials, E.C., scripted on the front. Hands sweating, she lifted the flap. Inside, a single, folded page. A date. A time. And the words, "Meet me in the glass conservatory at midnight." L. Tessa's phone buzzed. "They're calling us for toasts." "You ready?" "Yeah," Emilia lied, slipping the envelope back next to the photograph, two secrets hissing against each other like live wires. Back in the ballroom, Leon raised a flute, his smile the picture of effortless charm. "To the woman who reminded me that life is more than balance sheets," he began. Guests melted. Emilia's throat tightened. She sensed movement behind her. Her uncle was guiding little Noah, her 4-year-old, into the room, fresh from the children's wing where the kids had been playing. Noah tugged his clip-on tie, scanning the adults like a miniature detective. Emilia's pulse spiked. She'd planned to keep him out of the spotlight. He was shy, easily overwhelmed. But there he was, toddling straight toward the head table and the man who unknowingly shared his blood. Leon turned, mid-toast, eyes landing on Noah. Something flickered. Recognition? Confusion? He lowered his glass a fraction. Noah stopped, wide-eyed, staring up at the man who mirrored him in height reduced, features enlarged. The quartet's song ended in a hush. Emilia exhaled a silent prayer, but the universe wasn't listening. Noah lifted a hand. "Hi. I know you," he said, voice echoing louder than any microphone. Leon's brow furrowed. "Do you?" The room waited, breathless. Cliffhanger, Emilia must intercept before the pieces click, or risk the entire facade crumbling in front of hundreds of witnesses. Midnight came dressed in glass and danger. Emilia slipped out of the ballroom like a shadow. Past sleeping orchids and silent fountains, she moved barefoot, her heels clutched in one hand. The conservatory loomed ahead, a cathedral of glass and iron, moonlight cascading through panes like ghost light. She stepped inside. The air was warm, humid, perfumed with night jasmine. Leon was already there. He stood beside a marble bench, tie undone, champagne glass in one hand. He didn't turn when she entered. Just stared up at the glass ceiling where stars blinked like distant threats. "I didn't think you'd come," he said softly. "I didn't think you'd ask." He turned now, slowly, and looked at her with unreadable eyes. "You seemed off today." She smiled, too tightly. "Wedding nerves." "Not nerves," he said. "Guilt." Her breath caught. He stepped forward, searching her face. "Are you happy, Emilia?" The question cracked something inside her. She wanted to scream yes. And no. "And what are you doing? Do you know who my son is?" All at once. But her voice wouldn't work. "I'm just overwhelmed," she managed. Leon set down the champagne. "I need to tell you something." Her heart flipped. Oh God, he knows. He looked away, hands folding behind his back like he was giving a boardroom pitch. "A few years ago," he began, "I was different. Cold. Calculating. I slept around, partied. Never remembered names. I ruined things." Her mouth went dry. "I had this one night," he continued. "With a woman I still think about. I don't know her name. I don't know where she went. But something about her never left me." Emilia swayed. Her spine turned to ice. Her knees screamed to collapse. "I think I hurt her," he said, quieter now. "By leaving before she woke up." He turned to her. Their eyes locked. "I don't want to make that mistake again, with you." Silence stretched between them, as tight and fragile as the glass walls around them. This wasn't a confession. It was a test. He doesn't know. Not for sure. But he suspects something. Emilia took a slow breath. Her mind roared with panic, but her voice came out even. "You've changed, Leon. You're not that man anymore." He stepped closer, close enough that she could smell the bergamot on his collar. "I want a family," he whispered. "A real one." Tears pooled behind her eyes. "You deserve one," she whispered back. He reached up, brushing a loose curl from her cheek. "You'd make an amazing mother." The words hit harder than any accusation. She bit her lip, looked away. He held her for a long second. "Whatever it is you're carrying," his voice dropped, "you can tell me." The pause that followed was thick with possibility. Her lips parted. But before she could speak, a voice echoed from the darkness. "She already has." Both turned. Tessa stepped from the shadows, clutching the ivory clutch in her hand, the photograph sticking out like a blade. Secrets don't ruin lives. People do. Tessa's heels clicked against the marble floor as she stepped fully into the moonlight, clutch in one hand, photograph in the other. The paper fluttered like a dagger in the air. Leon stared, confused. "What is that?" Emilia froze. Tessa, wait. But Tessa's eyes never left her. Cold. Calculating. Hurt. I thought we were sisters, Tessa said quietly. I planned your whole wedding. Held your dress while you cried over that ex. And the one thing you never told me was that your son's father was him. Leon turned sharply. What? Emilia felt her body split in two. One half wanted to scream. The other wanted to run. Tessa, please, she said, stepping forward. This is not how. How what? Tessa snapped. How secrets are supposed to come out. You were going to marry him and never say a word? Leon looked between them. What are you talking about? What son? Emilia's breath hitched. Tessa raised the photo and threw it at him. It drifted to the ground between them. Leon bent, picked it up. His eyes locked onto the image. Himself. And a boy. A boy with his eyes. His hands shook. Emilia whispered, Leon. I didn't know it was you. That night, we didn't exchange names. I found out I was pregnant weeks later. You were gone. The silence stretched again. Tessa folded her arms. So, what now? You gonna tell him everything? I was going to, Emilia said, glancing at Leon. Tonight. No, Tessa said, stepping closer, voice low and sharp. You were going to marry him and hope he never found out. Admit it. Emilia didn't answer. She didn't have to. Leon still hadn't spoken. Then Tessa turned to him, voice suddenly soft. She was going to lie to you, Leon. Forever. His jaw tensed. Then Tessa turned back to Emilia. But here's the thing, I'm not here to ruin your life. I don't want to destroy your marriage. Emilia blinked. Then, what do you want? Tessa smiled. Not kind. Not cruel. Just calculated. I want leverage. Emilia's stomach dropped. Leverage? Tessa leaned closer. I want a seat on the board of Hale Global. Emilia's eyes widened. Leon finally spoke. You've got to be kidding. Not at all, Tessa said. I know how much public image matters to your investors. I also know what kind of scandal it would be if this photo leaked before your honeymoon even ends. You're blackmailing us? Emilia asked, voice shaking. Tessa shrugged. Let's call it securing a future. For all of us. She handed Emilia the clutch. I'll give you 48 hours. Tell him yourself, or I will. But if you agree to my terms, her voice dropped. The photo disappears forever. She turned and walked away, heels echoing like gunshots. Leon stared at Emilia. Tell me it's not true, he whispered. But she couldn't. And now she had 48 hours to decide, lose Leon, or give Tessa everything. You built a life with me, and kept my own son out of it. Emilia paced the bedroom like a prisoner. The wedding suite glittered around her, gold-veined marble, silk drapes, a bottle of untouched champagne chilling in a silver bucket. Everything felt surreal. Expensive. Lifeless. Then the door slammed. Leon stood in the doorway, the photo in his hand, his face carved from stone. She turned to him, heart pounding. Leon, why didn't you tell me? His voice wasn't loud. It was worse. Low. Steady. Cracked. I didn't know, she said quickly. Not at first. That night, you didn't give me your name. I didn't even know who you were until we met again, when you proposed. His eyes locked onto hers. You knew before I proposed. She swallowed. Yes, she admitted. A few months before. I figured it out. I saw your photo in a magazine, next to your full name. I recognized your eyes. Noah has them. Leon turned away like her words stung his skin. So you figured it out, and still said yes? Still let me stand there like an idiot and marry you, while my son walked this earth and didn't even know my name? Tears flooded her eyes. I was going to tell you tonight. Before Tessa showed up. I didn't want it to be like this. He laughed, short, bitter. Like what? Honest? Emilia stepped forward. You were a stranger that night, Leon. A one-time mistake. And when I saw you again, years later, I didn't want the past to ruin what we were building. Leon's voice hardened. What we were building was a lie. No, she said. It wasn't. It isn't. I love you. He looked at her like she was a stranger. You don't love someone you can lie to for years. The silence between them vibrated with pain. Do you even know what this means? He asked, voice shaking. I have a son. A son, Emilia. And I've missed 4 years of his life. His first steps. First words. All of it. Her voice broke. I didn't want to take that from you. I just didn't know how to fix it once the lie began. Leon looked down at the photo again. He looks like me. He is you, she whispered. All the best parts. He shook his head slowly. I can't do this. She grabbed his hand, desperate. Leon, please. But he pulled away. Then he said the one thing that shattered her. I don't know who I married today, but it sure as hell wasn't the woman I thought you were. And just like that, he left. The door clicked shut behind him. She collapsed onto the bed, sobbing. Downstairs. Tessa watches from a hallway shadow, phone in hand. A text message flashes on her screen. Is it done? She types back. Yes. He knows. And underneath her breath, she whispers. Now it begins. She didn't want what Emilia had. She wanted to become her. Tessa stood on the penthouse balcony of her hotel, city lights sprawling like gold veins beneath her. A man joined her. Tall. Sharp suit. Familiar. Cameron Hale, Leon's cousin. COO of Hale Global. And the one next in line if Leon ever stepped down. He handed her a drink. You really went through with it. Tessa smirked, sipping champagne. You sound surprised. I thought you were bluffing. I didn't think you'd detonate her wedding night. She turned, eyes glinting. That wasn't the plan. That was the first domino. He steadied her. Remind me what you're after again? Tessa walked to the edge, overlooking the skyline. For 5 years, I stood by Emilia. Helped raise her son. Managed her messes. Watched her stumble into a billionaire's heart like it was a fairy tale. She turned to face him. Meanwhile, I stayed in the shadows. Loyal. Invisible. Useful. Cameron nodded. So now you want her life? No, Tessa said coldly. I want something better. She pulled out a manila folder and handed it to him. Inside. Internal emails. Financial reports. A hidden trust account in Noah's name, tied to Hale Global stock. All accessed via Emilia's login credentials. Cameron raised an eyebrow. You hacked her? I didn't need to, Tessa said. She trusted me. I was her. Her maid of honor. Her babysitter. Her ghost. He flipped through the pages. You're going to leak this? Tessa shook her head. No. I'm going to sell it. The media doesn't need the truth, just a scandal. If I do it right, Hale Global's board will panic. Stocks drop. Leon steps down. And you? Tessa smiled. Step in. As a hero. The woman who exposed the deception. Who stood up for the company's integrity. She sipped again. The board's already weak on Leon's nepotism. They'd love a new face. Especially one who's sleeping with a Hale. Cameron went still. You want me to backstab my own cousin? Tessa leaned in. I want you to win. And take me with you. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Cameron asked, and the kid? Noah stays with Emilia. She won't fight back, she'll be too busy trying to save her marriage. A moment of silence passed. Then Cameron grinned. You're a monster. Tessa raised her glass. I'm a survivor. Cut to Emilia, alone in bed, holding Noah's baby photo. Voiceover. The people who know your past are always the ones who can weaponize it. She took everything from me. Now I'll take it back, one secret at a time. The next morning, Emilia sat in the nursery, cradling a small stuffed lion Noah once chewed on until its tail unraveled. She was alone. The suite echoed with the absence of Leon. No return calls. No messages. Her reflection in the nursery mirror didn't look like a CEO's wife. It looked like a woman on the verge of crumbling. Until the knock came. She opened the door, and there stood Claire, her old law school roommate, now a corporate attorney. I heard what happened, Claire said, stepping in. Emilia blinked. From who? Claire set her briefcase down. Leon. He called me last night. Said he didn't know who to trust, but he wanted answers. Emilia's breath hitched. And you? I told him to breathe. And to let me talk to you first. She opened her case and pulled out several documents. Claire tapped one page. Do you know what this is? Emilia scanned it. Noah's trust fund? Claire nodded. Set up through Hale Global. By Tessa. Using your credentials. Emilia's eyes widened. She used me? She's smart, but arrogant. She left a digital trail. Which means we can prove she accessed privileged systems without consent. Emilia's heart started pounding in a different rhythm, one of purpose. And that's not all, Claire continued. The trust account? It's tied to board votes. Small ones. Nothing alarming. But enough to raise eyebrows if someone like Cameron suddenly uses them. Emilia narrowed her eyes. You're saying she's helping Cameron take over? Claire nodded. And if she does, they'll vote you out of the foundation board, and maybe worse. But we can stop them. Emilia sat forward. How? Claire pulled out a small flash drive. Digital leverage. Every login, every time-stamped access. All traceable to her. Emilia blinked, stunned. How do you even have this? I used to date a Hale Global IT director. Long story. A slow, burning smile crept onto Emilia's face. For the first time in days, she felt it, control. Claire leaned in. Emilia, this isn't just about Leon anymore. It's about your son. Your name. Your legacy. You want to be a Hale? Then own it. Emilia stood. She smoothed her dress. Brushed her hair from her face. I don't want revenge, she said softly. Claire raised an eyebrow. No? I want truth, Emilia said. I want my son's father back. And I want that snake Tessa gone, for good. Claire grinned. Then let's play her game. And beat her at it. Cut to Tessa in a sleek office, sipping espresso, smirking over her laptop. Her screen freezes. Then crashes. Then flashes red text. Unauthorized access detected. Investigators notified. Tessa leans forward. What the hell? And for the first time, she's the one afraid. You thought I wouldn't fight back. You forgot who you taught. The Hale Global boardroom gleamed with polished wood, cold light, and the air of power. 12 men and women sat around the long table, murmuring. Tessa sat near the end, immaculate in white, sipping her tea. Cameron, smug and composed, sat beside her. The chairman cleared his throat. We're here to address recent security concerns and internal manipulation tied to company shares. The door opened. Emilia stepped in, sharp black dress, calm gaze, flash drive in hand. Cameron smiled like he was seeing a ghost. Mrs. Hale. To what do we owe this surprise? Emilia placed the flash drive gently on the table. You can drop the act, Cameron. And you too, Tessa. Tessa blinked. Excuse me? Claire stepped in behind Emilia, handing a file to each board member. These are timestamped records, Claire said, showing multiple unauthorized logins into confidential accounts, including the creation of a trust fund tied to board vote shares. One of the directors raised a brow. Is this accurate? Claire nodded. All traceable to a device used by Miss Tessa Rowe. Tessa's eyes darkened. That's absurd. Emilia cut her off. You used my name. My access. My child. You set me up to fall, so you and Cameron could sweep in and claim the company. But you underestimated one thing. Cameron sneered. And what's that? Emilia turned to the board. I learned from the best. I watched this company grow from the shadows. I built it with Leon. I've never asked for a title. But I've earned one. And if you think I'm handing my son's future over to two snakes in suits, think again. The room went still. The chairman cleared his throat again. Ms. Rowe, do you deny these claims? Tessa opened her mouth, then paused as one director pulled up a screen with her personal login logs. Caught. Cameron stood. This is slander. She has no standing here. Claire interrupted. Actually, she does. Emilia Hale is co-signer on the children's fund that holds key voting shares. And those shares, effective today, no longer support you. Emilia leaned in, eyes on Cameron. You tried to silence me. Erase me. But I'm not the scared girl you took advantage of. I'm a mother. A wife. And I'm done playing nice. She turned to the board. I move to suspend both Ms. Rowe and Mr. Hale from all company operations pending full investigation. The vote was called. Hands went up. One by one. Majority. Approved. Tessa stood, stunned. You can't do this to me. You did it to yourself, Emilia said coldly. Cameron's face was pale. Security was called. As they were let out, Emilia turned back to the board. And from now on, I'll be taking a more active role in this company. It's time a Hale woman ran things. You gave me a son. And I almost lost both of you. 2 days later. The Hale estate sat quiet under the golden hue of a setting sun. The gardens glowed, washed in soft amber, like the world was finally exhaling. Emilia sat on the back porch, watching Noah chase fireflies with a jar in his hand. He giggled, oblivious to the storms his little heart had survived. The sound of footsteps made her turn. Leon. Wearing a white shirt, no tie. No armor. Just a man. Her heart clenched. I didn't expect you, she said quietly. I know, he replied. But I had to see you. See him. Noah turned and spotted him. Daddy. Leon's breath caught. He dropped to his knees as the boy barreled into his arms. They held each other like the missing time had never passed, and yet every second of it lived in that moment. Emilia wiped a tear from her cheek. Leon looked at her, still holding Noah. I don't know how to feel. I'm still angry. Still broken over what we lost. She nodded. So am I. But, he added, rising to his feet, I'm more afraid of losing what we still have. He stepped closer. You should have told me. But I should have seen it. The way you looked at him. At me. At us. I was scared, she said. Scared that the truth would ruin everything we had. And in the end, hiding it ruined more. Leon touched her face gently. You gave me a son, Emilia. And I almost lost both of you. Noah tugged at his hand. Are we going home now? Leon looked between them. That depends. Can we? She smiled through her tears. Only if we start fresh. No lies. No ghosts. He nodded. Then yes. Let's go home. Cut 2. Emilia tucks Noah into bed. Leon watches from the doorway, softer than we've ever seen him. Downstairs, she finds him in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, making pancakes. At night, she laughs. He shrugs. Missed too many breakfasts. Figured I'd start now. She steps into his arms. I don't want a fairy tale, she whispers. I just want us. He kisses her forehead. Then let's build something real.